and Kevin, and welcome to Crypto Vibes on Fridays. And here, if you haven't seen us before, we are vibing with the vibes in the most vibiest of vibe ways, and all shapes and forms. Exactly, perfect timing. That slow, real juicy application of the sunglasses. That felt like a beautiful introduction to today's vibe coding session. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good. I'm here at ETH Global Prague, ETH Prague, and yeah, just wrapped up a couple workshops, and yeah, doing good, man. Just vibing.
Awesome. Tell me about ETH Prague, ETH Global Prague. Hey, Barry, how you doing, buddy?
We got
Yeah.
some background noise, Barry. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go. How you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing, Barry? How you doing? Well, Kevin, go ahead. Tell us how ETH Prague is going.
yeah, it's going good. I had a couple workshops on like scaffold ETH, teaching people how to build. I even did like little vibe code, which was cool. Basically, like rebuilt poop.art style thing where you can click and mint NFTs on a grid, so that was fun. And today I did a stable coin challenge. Vibe's good. There's lots of cool people here. Barry's here. We're vibing together.
What's up,
We're hanging
guys?
out. Hey. So yeah, doing
How's
good.
it
So yeah,
going?
it's doing good. You missed it. I was just we were saying how good the vibes were here.
Hey, let's go.
I got to get my sunglasses. They're in the other room, but next week I think that would be appropriate.
I need
We're
some
just
pink
all.
shades, dude.
Oh, that would be definitely vibey. Yeah.
Yes, I need some bear inspired sunglasses for you, Barry. I think that would be appropriate. How you
I
doing,
think
Barry?
Chain can sort you out.
Yeah, I
That
know.
one,
Or yeah,
I'm
you'll just have a
sure.
full bear headdress or whatever they think. Not a mask.
Yeah,
That's more
yeah,
than a mask. It's whatever that is. It's huge. But yeah, man, Barry, how you enjoying the big old event so far? Have you been there for a few days? How long you been there so far?
yeah. I've been here for. Shall I count in hours? No, just kidding. I've been
Yeah.
here for a day now. No, it was a very spontaneous trip for me. I was just like Kevin messaged me. He was like he did like a memo on his phone. He was like, "Look, man, you're missing us so much right now. You wouldn't believe it." And I was just like, "God damn it, I'm gonna have to come now." So
The
Totally
FOMO
I got him.
king.
major
Dude,
guilt
yeah,
trip.
he really knows how to create FOMO. That's for sure. So I was like, okay, next flight in the morning, I'm going. I'm going.
He is very good at that. He is very good. I do remember missing out on a Brazilian barbecue. Shout out to Mateus, who set up a Brazilian barbecue. I think it was like almost, I don't know, 9 months, a year ago, and I'm still sad about that. And both Kevin and Mateus dropped that on pretty solid. So FOMO skills Kevin has for sure. um,
Yeah.
so Today, I wanted to just throw it out there just during this vibe code session. We have done a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of coding, but enough coding that I wanted to step back a little bit. And there was a few big announcements in these last few weeks, and we're so into the crypto space, I thought it might be healthy for us to take a look at Google I/O, which had probably 5 different products announced and a whole different strategy announced and all of this, and just do this live with you, Barry, Kevin, and just go through this and what this means to you guys, because I know ideas of what it's meaning to me, but I'm curious what you guys think. And they do actually have a few products in beta right now from the announcement. So how does that sound today if we go through those things? Does that sound good?
I'm down.
Sounds like a
Let's do
plan.
it. Let's do it. So yeah, Google I/O. This was what, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and it already feels like a month ago. Let's see. Yeah, it was literally 10 days ago, and this feels like, I'll put this in chat here. This is on the live stream chat, so everyone take a look at that. It is, I'll put this on the stream. It's a blog.google.com, the Google AI Developer Updates, IO 2025. So that is the news right there. I'll actually share my screen and we can just kind of hang out and poke around with this. I think this is a good thing to go through just because, my goodness, the various features that they are thinking of doing, same with Microsoft, there's a lot. And so essentially, let's just go through this. And the Google Gemini Flash in 2.5 Pro, that's fine. No big deal with that. New models, that's fine. And another model. This one is video, I believe. Yes, a music generation model. So we have that. And where's the one here? Here we have multimodal medical text and open model, the sign languages for text. This is the this is the area that I thought that was going to be the most interesting right here. The agentic collab, where it will be able to essentially, it's supposed to be more like conversational. That's the basic thing that I was getting from that. And this right here, Code Assist, we already know that that is in there with like Copilot. These are the ones I think that are the most interesting to me. Have you guys had a chance to take a look at what Firebase Studio, Jules, and Stitch are just yet?
I know what Firebase Studio is, but I'm not sure of Jules and Stitch now.
Gotcha.
It's really,
Yeah, go for
it's
it.
quite interesting. I saw someone, another devil was showing off Jules to me today. I didn't, I didn't realize it was a product by Google actually. That's fascinating.
Yeah, Jules is pretty crazy in that, like, it's, from what I understand, it's asynchronous agents sitting and waiting for some type of trigger to jump in and get to work. And that to me is DevOps completely. And that, you know, we're coming from the graph ecosystem and graph node and all that. That to me is like, oh, we've got, you know, that's where I'm thinking. Are you guys thinking of anything different for Jules and kind of what that's doing? It's just basically agents sitting and waiting for tasks, and then certain triggers can get them going.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Barry, you said you got a chance to look at it. Did he
Yeah,
demo it? Or?
I don't know if it's the one. Yeah, I think it's the same one. I'll just double check this the one. But basically, it's a coding environment like what's it called? Let me just jump in. I'll double
Jules.
check.
So the domain is jules.google. So.
Okay, they go crazy with that domains, don't they?
It looks like Kraken too, their logo.
Yeah, I see that little squid. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The marketing is pretty neat.
Yeah.
So it's available to try now. So you have to just accept your privacy notice and give away all your rights.
Of course. That's
Fantastic.
that's the way it goes.
So it looks like it's tightly niched with GitHub. So I think it's more like like an AI agent to like deal with what you would normally do with GitHub, which that sounds really cool to me because I still do everything old school with GitHub. And it would be nice to not have to think about that stuff. I often have to like ask the AI like, hey, I'm having a problem like committing this because of my tree's out of sync or something weird. So to me it sounds pretty awesome actually.
Yeah, I was looking at the. This is not a very fair representation. If you Google like online on Google, and if you go on Google and Google, you know this product by Google. If you look up Jules on Google Images, you'll see the interface more. The way it looks is basically like it's your typical chat assistant, and you basically chat with it, and it does very similar. It's a very similar flow to the one you're used to with. Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT Artifacts is basically like an artifact that's optimized for this use case. It's very similar to V0 if you like programming with that, or like Lovable.
I've been seeing Lovable. This is the same UI has been used with Lovable, Bolt. This same kind of left is us and natural language and the coding environments on the right. I'm wondering about the asynchronous nature of it though. It seems like
I think the idea is that you could like give it a task, and if it needs to do like multiple things, it'll make multiple requests and spin up additional agents.
Okay, that's
like
cool.
you might need to tell it like, hey, I want you to like take this repo, I want you to publish it, I want you to fork it, or I don't know, whatever, like create a separate branch, and then at the same time I want you to like deploy it to Vercel or something weird. And so it might need to set up a hook, and so it would be setting up the hook properly ahead of time, and then dealing with the code commit at the same time and like getting it ready.
And
So
having multiple
I,
agents. I mean, this is the first, I've only been using one agent at one time. I know that exists out there where there's, tools that you could do multiple ones. This is,
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty
but
cool.
yeah, it looks good. I like the marketing actually.
It does look nice. Yeah.
The purple, like, yeah,
It
seems
does
like a
look
fun one.
nice. The next one that I thought was interesting, I never liked Firebase. I thought Firebase, I mean, it's great. Let me just say it's great, but it's just bloated. There's a lot of shit going on. And I've been developing an app on the weekends for the last few weeks, and I tried out Firebase Studio, and it's an attempt to make it a full stack coding environment. Once again, similar to a Bolt, similar to a Lovable. It feels very well positioned to just make building very, very easy to get going off the ground. So I'm curious where that fits with you guys in your mind. Have you guys used Firebase before?
Yeah, I've used Firebase before, but I think like this looks like what they've kind of done is extended it to like be able to take designs,
Yeah.
and just build a full stack application from like Figma's or someone actually asked this question in one of the talks today. It was funny. So it's funny we're talking about this because it seems like something that would be cool, where you basically just send in the Figma design and then it just brings the app to life, right? But yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
also very similar to V0 Dev. Like, I don't know. I would need to use it first before saying, "Hey, this is awesome" or whatever.
Yeah. Let's. I'm curious. Firebase. I mean, if I could just. I mean, I'm not great with Figma. I.
Well,
But it does seem like that's a cool concept to like be able to speak from top down as opposed to bottom up.
Well, yeah. So like, I think, well, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, Barry, but I think V0 Dev, like, you can't do anything like that, right? You can't like give it a Figma and it will just build you an app. And even if it did, it's not going to plug it into like all the systems it needs to be a true like full stack app. So this seems kind of cool, where I think you'll be able to just give it a Figma that your designer created, and it will just automatically plumb everything up and kind of get it running for you, essentially. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Well, V0 is the one that had. I think they're the first ones to have the Figma functionality, where you can connect your
Oh,
Figma and import your Figma. Actually,
oh,
import. It
nice.
doesn't create any Figma. That's actually something I was been looking for, because I'd love to create Figma files and just use it as a
Mm,
bridge to load up that Figma file into another agent, right?
Yeah.
But you can. But at the same time, you can also take a screenshot. I don't think it does anything advanced. It just takes a screenshot of your Figma environment, and just kind of like tries to recreate something that whatever it saw, basically.
mm.
But it doesn't. It's not a deep integration. It's basically like it's the same as taking a screenshot. You load it up, and it's like, well, I'm just gonna go and give it a try. I definitely think there is more opportunity there, to bridge the Figma world with the AI world.
Yeah. Are you usually working in between that world, Barry, between the Figma and front end, and do you have a lot of experience working with Figma?
Yes, I've. Yeah, it's when you're working with a designer, usually Figma is a software of choice, and it's kind of cool that that it just goes to show that all these apps implementing Figma and not Adobe, right? That it's the software of choice for web development and web just UI design in general, right?
Yeah.
So usually the designer creates some Figma files, and yeah, you go in and try to recreate it as perfectly as possible. They have a dev mode for you to be like as precise as possible.
Sure.
And this is something that AI has not been able to replicate perfectly. Every time you load up a Figma file, it will create a faithful representation, but it will never create an exact representation. Same way we had problems with hands, like AI had problems with hands, where
Yes. Yes.
it was
Yeah.
a faithful hand, but it wasn't like
It was a creepy hand.
anatomically correct. Yeah, it wasn't anatomically correct. Yeah, yeah, it was like, yeah. Oh
Um,
God.
yeah, all the different hands. But I mean, it seems like the hand thing is improving significantly. I think we're going to look back at this time and kind of laugh at, the hands, the little things, the Will Smith eating spaghetti, kind of, what would you call that?
Yeah.
Testing, and is that a testing environment? Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Yeah, it's like I don't know, what is that? Exploratory stage of AI.
Yeah, I mean, there was pre-internet and post-internet. I feel like this is just similar.
Pre-AI, post-AI,
Yeah. So yeah, with Studio, I'm seeing kind of full stack. Jules, I'm seeing it angled at back end, more just like tasks, and then we have Stitch, which is front end, and this is also talks about Figma right in here. Barry, I remember you said you were, or at least I saw some designs you shared earlier with Stitch. Did you get a chance to play around with that a little bit more, or any thoughts on it?
Yeah, to me it seems more like yeah, it's just a tool optimized for Figma files, and that's something that's been missing from the industry, because I remember I really, like I said, like I really wanted to generate Figma files,
Sure.
and I believe I can't remember if AI generated Figma files or not, but it generates something that you can copy paste before, but it wasn't trained to be like specifically Figma optimized, right?
Right.
So if someone, if it seems like Google is taking this very seriously, obviously what they generated is not interactive, so they generated like an actual like file. So if it's actually trained to be interoperable with Figma, I mean, Figma has a product that generates Figma files, right?
Sure.
I don't know if you've played with it, Figma AI,
I
but it's
played with
also
it a little
not
bit.
as good.
I got overwhelmed very quickly. I was like, there's so I backed away slowly.
Yeah, it's something that might be impressive to someone who's getting into it and they're like, just build me something, right? But if you're a professional, you want it to be as pixel perfect as possible, right?
Nice. Yeah, I will say that it feels like Google is trying to take all of the market share from like these other tools that are doing this thing and this thing. They're experts, like Google always likes to do, right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought this would be good for this week vibe coding and vibe talking, essentially about Google and what they're doing. The race is on, and then I think maybe next week we talk about Microsoft, because they also had a big week just a week or two ago, and with all of us being so in crypto, this is it's just a different time to even catch up with all this stuff. I mean, the full stack nature, the front to back, the whole pivoting of what just a year ago didn't really exist. I mean, Cursor wasn't around. Copilot was a thing, and it kind of helped, but kind of didn't. And to be here now, what do you think? What do you guys think is coming for? Just basically reading through the lines or connecting the dots. How do you think it's going to change for front end devs? Barry, do you have any idea for you specifically, and working with front end for so many years? What do you think it's going to look like?
Yeah, I think you know what I would love to see personally? I would love to see all these agents just connect, because there's been a lot of work that's been done on the backend side with MCPs and such.
Sure.
So as you can see with Google expanding into this direction, and obviously V0 is like a visual slash code-based solution. I would love to see like MCP made it so that servers can communicate through your main client. I would love to see something that connects these tools together, like MCP, but for artifacts, for example.
For actual things in the client.
Yeah, so for actual things in the client. So an artifact, for those who don't know, there are different words that people use for it. Artifacts are basically so the way AI tool calling works, right? So you give it a prompt and you tell it, how to call a calculator, how to call this and that, right? So on the front end side, you can say add 2 + 2, right? And AI is not very good at math, so it will bring up a calculator, right? So the calculator can be like a little widget in chat that you can play with, and then it's like it can invoke itself, or you can play with it and it waits for your input, right? Um, it's like a little thing. So artifacts are basically like what you see here. This is an artifact, something that takes up like half of the page.
Yeah.
This is like your work environment. So you use the chat, the right, to control the artifact. You basically have like a more workspace like environment to play with it, and it's extremely powerful, especially when these environments talk to each other, right?
Sure. And I think when the environments talk with each other, I mean, I'm thinking of props. I'm thinking of certain, pieces of data that are always being passed on APIs. We're thinking of, within a client. We're thinking of between different servers. It seems like right now it's this kind of like, it's a little bit squishy, I guess, where like people are trying to figure out what this is going to look like, because it feels like, yes, we're of course still going to be using API and still going to be using this stuff, but it feels like there's a new layer almost. I chatted with you a little bit about that, Barry, about this kind of new layer that we're trying to figure out where we're going. Does that sit at all with you, Kevin, about this kind of new, I don't want to call it like an AI layer, but it is almost like a AI consumption distribution layer that is entwined with what we've been building for years, but also different. It's an interesting kind of
It's an
place.
abstraction is what it is. It's
Yeah.
basically what we're trying to do is, I mean, technology's always been trying to figure out ways to abstract things away.
Yeah.
And so we're finally with AI able to do that. And I was talking to someone the other day about in my experience in using AI. I've been coding since I was a kid. I built my first website when I was like 11, and I started working at the Geek Squad. Fun fact, if anyone
That's
doesn't know,
cool. I didn't know that.
I was in the Best Buy. You didn't know that? Yeah. So I was in the
No,
Geek
that's-
Squad for a long time. And
That is cool.
I knew some Python and a little JavaScript, and I've been learning like code pretty much until I became an SRE, and then I really started to like dive into lots of languages. And I would say in the last year, like I have gotten way more confident with the idea that I can let AI abstract away some of this complexity. I still, because I have an understanding of like computer science and like the
Sure.
programming language and how they work. But I feel like what we're getting to now is just we're trying to figure out ways to abstract away, and so that we have more a higher level of consciousness to focus on other things. Like because you're not like having to sit there and like write 500 lines of code. You're still like seeing the AI do it, even in a very like high level way. Like you're seeing it write for you, and you're seeing it solve these problems that you would like take probably a full day to do, and you're still learning, right? You're still learning, and so that's what we're getting to. We're getting into an abstraction layer. It is a layer, and it's just going to get more abstracted, and there's nothing you can do about it. If someone tells you like, oh, you're a vibe coder, like you're not a real coder, that's BS, because the truth is like a lot of this stuff that AI is going to do for us is going to open up us to be able to be more efficient.
Sure.
I've built apps like in days that would took me a year, and so
Yeah.
it is a layer. It's an abstraction layer, and that's more and more
Yeah.
tools, and
Yeah, it does feel like that's a great way of putting it. It is an abstraction layer. And it's so much more approachable. I started coding not when I was a little kid. I started coding maybe 2016, 2017, and it was just for fun. It was nothing more than, hey, like I like to tinker. You should see all of the hobbies I have. I enjoy tinkering. I enjoy building things. I enjoy using my hands. And so I just started coding. And to go from starting around there to then now, I'm now coding I wouldn't say confidently, but in a way that I can express myself more, almost more, just, I wouldn't say with expertise, it feels like a subtle confidence across the board that it would have taken me probably 5 to 10 years more to get this subtle confidence across multiple languages that I've used, between TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, now Rust, and just those alone already in my time that's plenty. That's plenty of languages right now. And to then understand backend, front end, middleware, like the generality of it provides some type of confidence that I really do enjoy. So with Google, let's go back here to the news. Let's see. And we've got Jules, Studio, Stitch, Code Assist, and let's see, the asynchronous call, the async, that's great. And MCP, there we go. So MCP is another one that injects directly into the developer environment, which I think is interesting. Seeing that on client side will be really cool too, I think, which already, we can expose a text box and get data back. I think having it, I don't know, MCP and then having that be client side, I think would be pretty dang cool too. To have that, like, basically have people plugged directly into database as they are building. I feel like that's where it's headed anyways. But yeah, guys, I'm excited, and I think the only choice right now for us is to just say, hey, we're going to just stay aware of this type of stuff. Barry, what do you think? How are you staying aware of all of this information? Are you, let me stop sharing my screen. How are you staying aware of all this information? Are you, me personally, I'm just using stuff as much as I can. I'm just like, how do I heard Claude Code is super vibey, and I haven't even used it yet, but apparently it's supposed to be very cool.
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing about communicating with developers all the time, they're the ones who are telling you about it. They're the ones that are usually, I usually hear about these things once they hit the network effect.
Sure.
Once the network effect is starting to pick up, I'm like, so this is the MCP that you use for the database. That's it. And like, everyone is using it. You should be using it. And that's the main way, because I am fairly happy with. I have very different requirements from AI to a lot of other people, right? So, for example, if I'm programming, I want to make sure that my AI has a low error rate, for example, right? I don't trust agent mode as much as a lot of other people trust.
I've had it RMRF with me a few times. I'm like, no! And that to me already, I'm like, Claude 3.5 is very excited to remove directories, I'll have to say.
I was in a live stream with Austin Griffith today, and he has everything on like auto, he just lets it go, and he just doesn't he's like, whatever, just do. And I'm like getting major anxiety because like I have it on like kind of auto, but like I don't let it like delete stuff, Yeah. And I don't make it I don't let it run like system commands because like I'm just so like paranoid that there's some kind of like malware gonna get like executed.
Yeah. I mean, that's
so.
I'm waiting for that's already happening with these prompt libraries that, hey, you could download this amazing prompt library, and somewhere deep inside is some injectable, curl command that just pulls in something that, all right, full root access, fun, and that's real now. Like that. Be careful, everyone, when downloading prompt libraries, which are available now for like $1 or $2. They are dangerous. Yeah.
Down for those. That stuff's stupid. I don't think we need that. I think the AI is not going to need prompt libraries.
Yeah, it's whatever the frame. There needs to be a term for this. I'm sure there is, but like the guardrails of these, systems that essentially keep them focused and minimize hallucinating. Almost like. I feel like my prompts are getting to the place where like I'm now assuming hallucinations, and then so now I am asking it for like only creative tasks, not only creative tasks, but I'm leaning more into like hypotheticals and looking for only hypotheticals in terms of a return, and then from there just take it that final mile. But anyways, I feel like do we have a good idea of Google's push for this Google I/O, and do you guys feel ready to potentially hop into Microsoft's next week? Would that be a reasonable thing to just look over and see what they've released?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
I
try
think
for that. Yeah. Oh, go ahead,
for
Barry.
sure. Yeah, I think these companies like to be influenced by each other's technologies.
Yeah.
Because if Google has it and Microsoft doesn't have it, why can't Microsoft do it? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, they just had
Can.
their big conference. I mean, they're both on the same weekend, as far as I recall. I think it was a day or two apart or something like that. So it's like I'm still trying to catch up with everything. You're totally right, Barry. I feel like I would be quite surprised if it was dramatically different. Microsoft's was dramatically different from Google's because it feels like they're probably going to head in a similar direction based on all of what they're doing.
Yeah. Barry's on the move. I don't know
Barry's
where he's
on the
going,
move.
but
All right.
it's going to be vibey.
I'm on the move, guys.
Yeah.
Time to vibe.
Time to
I don't know
vibe.
about you guys.
Where's your Aperol Spritz, Barry?
Spritz. Best thing these guys have is beer.
Beer.
Oh, that's
okay.
pretty cool.
Beer taps.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
Okay. That's reasonable.
I think they turned off. I'm not sure. We'll give it a try later.
Well,
Nice.
in terms of a good Friday vibe coding session, how do we feel like this Friday went? And would you guys be open to checking out Microsoft next week just to stay abreast of what's going on?
Yeah, I think we could do that, but I also think we should probably try to vibe something too. Maybe we
Yeah,
do
sure.
a little more like. I think it'd be cool to do more like demoing the product. Like that was cool. You went through and like tried a couple things, but maybe
Sure.
like we do that and like show it
Sure.
off. But definitely next week, Microsoft sounds good.
We'll do
Let's
Microsoft
figure
and
it
we'll
out.
actually jump into some code. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, we always know Google's gonna be way better than Microsoft.
always, every single time, 100% of the time, without a doubt. I like the confidence.
Yeah.
Barry, any last thoughts here, buddy?
Yeah, no, not many. I mean, I'm bullish on whatever these guys are building. Yeah, I guess I want to show off at some point because we're talking about like the artifacts and such. The artifact I built for the graph.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
You want to show it off
Back
right
in
now?
the day. Yeah, I can show it
Yeah,
off real
go
quick.
for it, man.
Nice.
Yeah, take over the screen.
So,
man.
yeah, I think that I had a chance to look at some of the stuff that Barry built, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
And much needed. So.
All right, we can't hear you, Barry. You're muted, and also the screen's quite
Yeah.
small.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
There we go. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
there we go. Yeah, I just this is something I kind of semi-vibe coded a while back. This was part of the last year hackathon because we're talking about interfaces. It's just like to kind of demonstrate how this experience is different from like an MCP, for example, because MCP would produce the same results sometimes, but this is sorry. So this is like which one we're gonna do? Top 10 subgraphs by curation, for example, right? It wants me to provide an ID. This is gonna fetch the information about it from the main subgraph and generate a query that you can run in a graphical interface. And this is just to kind of show one of the, and it doesn't have, it can work with any GraphQL. It's just this one was built for the hackathon in Singapore, so.
Very cool. Could you share that
Yeah.
repo?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a different repo, but I'll get it to you guys later. Just need to go through it.
Yeah.
Just kind of like
And this
in the
is
process.
using, you're using Vercel SDK, right? AI SDK, and you're using, are you using AgentKit, or did you just build the agent yourself? There's no like wallet, right? It's just like,
There is wallet. There is a wallet.
oh, there's a
here.
wallet. Oh,
Yeah, so it's
oh,
it's using auth for for it.
Okay.
But
like
and it's
sign in with Ethereum kind of thing.
yeah, sign in with Ethereum exactly. I mean, it's a cool project. See, this is actually a good example of things going wrong with this stuff. It needs a little bit of work. But this is a different artifact they brought up. It's like it's a writing. You know, it's like for text editing.
Yeah.
It's a little bug, vibe coding, but more or less you can see it's it gets to 1,000 instead.
Yeah, I love that.
Versions.
So you basically like are using graphical inside of this component, yeah, and you're just feeding the query, yeah, and you're feeding all of the subgraph information and all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just kind of it was to demonstrate the artifacts. You know, you can really put anything you want into them, any front end you want.
By the way, you won, I believe, right?
I got second place, but it wasn't in the state. It was let's just say in the much. I mean, it's a hackathon, right? But I guess sometimes the vision wins. Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, we always love Barry's hackathon at the Graph. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean that's useful day one right there. As soon as that got out, so good work.
But he's
on that.
Disqualified now, though.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Just DQ'd. Just DQ'd.
Just kidding.
It's okay, but it's okay. But I
totally joking.
No. It's, I know you're serious. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see where things go with the industry. And, like, there are plenty of more interconnectability issues that need to be solved.
Yeah, very much so. I feel like we're doing the best we can to stay on top of things with little moments like this and all the other different challenges we have in our day-to-day workday, and then learning new platforms, new ways of thinking. It's just never ending. So to Kevin, what you were saying about how this is never ending, that's always learning.
Not going away. Going away. And it's kind of like, I don't even know what analogy to use, but it's like you kind of like dip your toes in it and it's a little addicting, and you're just like, if I can do this more effectively, like, why wouldn't I just like do everything this way? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's going to be like before you had cars, like, why would you go buy a horse? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
it's like,
it feels like that. It feels like Model T has been invented,
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Well, good vibe coding session. I think next week we'll do more coding and look at specific products in the Microsoft stack. How's that sound?
Sounds amazing.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hopping on, and same time next week. I'll see you guys.
Cool. And I'll see you later, Barry.
All right, see you later. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, take care, everyone.
Cheers.